Why did I forget the law? Why was the Word not richly dwelling in my heart? What causes us to forget the law? Well, let me illustrate it for you. The law of God comes into our hearts, and we invite the law of God as a guest. We know the value of this great guest, and we seek to make this guest a permanent guest in our home, meaning our hearts. We know its value. We know what it brings to our lives. We know what it will produce in our lives. We talked about that in the first 2 chapters. We've already established that. But at a certain point, other guests are invited in. Chapter 1, the wicked call. We see chapter number 2, the evil man is speaking. The strange woman is speaking. And all of a sudden, other guests are invited in. The number of these guests begins to increase. It soon, slowly, pushes the law of God out. How does that happen? You say, well, the house was full of company you liked. The law of God, as a result, was pushed to the outside, unnoticed, silenced, drowned out, forgotten, and seemingly unwelcomed. Now, the law of God is waiting on the outside, but when you fall and your guests leave a mess, you cry out, where was the law of God? If the law had been there, all this would not have happened. And God reminds us in this Proverbs that your heart keeps what it likes. And what it dislikes, it lets go. It forgets. You cannot blame a bad memory, nor can you blame the other guests. You have invited them in. You see, to be content with having once invited the law of God in is to neglect the truth of the proverb, forget not my law. Isn't that why perhaps he says, wisdom is the principal thing? Therefore, with all thy getting, get wisdom. In other words, what he is saying is, when you've invited wisdom in, when you've invited the law of God into your heart, into your home, make sure you don't forget it. Make sure that there's no other guest that comes in that will crowd this wisdom out. Make sure that you always keep that guest as the principal, the most important thing in your life, because other guests are calling. Other guests are going to try to come in. Other guests are going to try to speak to you and influence you, and make sure that wisdom is the principal thing, the most important guest you have in your home. Perhaps that's what he said also in the book of Proverbs. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life.